Come on, tough guy.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen, but they'll never take our freedom!
It's Friday, October 18th, and if the sun is set where you're at, you are in the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's Flat Earth Friday. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here. We've got so much content. We probably could have done a 5-hour stream tonight.
Yeah, that is the reason why we're a little bit late tonight, because we had so much to put together. We've got a lot to go through tonight. So we're going to be covering Comet Atlas. We're going to be covering the fittest flat earther. We're going to be covering a response to Nachiketa. We're going to be covering QNFee. And he's gone crazy, crazy, crazy. He's going straight globe earther, like out in the open. It's really, really bad this time.
Yeah, so I don't know if people are actually keeping tabs, but since the flat earth community started back in the day, there's been many things that have gone on where people have started to realize that the original flat earth model that was shared by the Flat Earth Society was the AE equidistant, the AE projection, which actually is a sphere projection, right? And what we've been showing for a long time is that the sunrise angles, they debunk the map. So what we have now is a character by the name of QNFee who continues to promote that map because he colored it, and he's got some attachment to it. If you zoom in on certain parts, you're going to see his name on it. Well, debunking it at the same time, he's continuing to promote that it's the working map of reality. It only has one pole, when the Earth and any projection that you use or coordinate system needs to have two poles so that you can properly represent the celestial bodies as well. But not even that. So he's actually out here saying that the sun has different speeds.
That's bad. Well, depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about its apparent path over the Earth as far as like a solar noon is concerned at different latitudes, then yes, they do vary. And we'll be going through that. This is something that's been talked about as a huge pressurized pizza dome debunk for a long time. And yeah, there are different speeds as far as solar noon traveling across a certain latitude. That is for sure. But he's talking about something else. He's talking about the actual rotation of the sun around the observer varying. And that right there is one of the most absurd things I've ever heard. And once you see where this is coming from, it all relates to these words apparent, mean. He also uses the word observable. He keeps on referencing the data. And this website, SunCalc, keeps on coming up. And this is one of the websites that is a model of a virtual reality because it has the sun rising from Earth and setting into Earth, into a plane. And that's not what they say is taking place. So how they can even use that SunCalc website, that model, it's beyond me. It's wrong because what they're doing is co-opting the truth in a model that represents a virtual reality, trying to use it for themselves, and it doesn't work in a one-pole model.
Yeah, if you only have one pole, you can't represent the southern celestial bodies over top of the plane of Earth. So it's the azimuthal equidistant. It's not equidistant. It was the azimuthal map that was created at, was it called Mordor? Some Boston college or some place in England. If you zoom in on this map, you are going to just be blown away at just how many of the towns and cities and places are actually really badly misspelled. Really badly. Okay, so we've debunked it so many different times in so many different ways, but yet these shills still cling to it. And it's astounding. You know, it is just astounding. And it shows you who's who and who they actually fight for and what they're actually here for. And so what you're going to see tonight is people trying to confuse you, right, with the fittest flat earther channel. I guess we'll call him the fittest flurfer channel, with the nonsense that he's bringing up that he's supposedly seeing a was it Savannah, Georgia, from 200 miles away with his cell phone while walking on the beach. That is just crazy. People need to understand what the distance to the vanishing point is. And then you get QNFee trying to state that he's debunked the map and projection, but it's still the best one that he uses for reality, is just ridiculous. Now, the sun speeds on top of the azimuthal equidistant map is just insane, right? Because once you reach the equator, the lines of longitude actually converge back to a single point, whereas the map and model that he's showing, they continue to get more and more stretched out. Right? It is a completely non-reality and irrational perspective to have in reality. On top of that, these channels like QNFee don't have a model, don't have a projection. They don't have a system. All they have is narcissistic egomaniacs that are here for click whores. They're here for click views, and they don't actually stand on anything. They just think they can go around misinforming people. Now, when they say mean and apparent, what they're actually doing is backhandedly flipping the truth. So they'll say that the mean sun is the one that travels around the tropics, and that's the real one. And the apparent one that we actually witness in the sky, they say that's the fake sun. So there's only one observable sun for every person alive and every observer or camera. There's only one sun. You'll never see two. You can't triangulate the sun's position matching to anything else. All you can do is have an observer and the sun and its path around that observer. And what you'll find is, without a shadow of a doubt, it will always rise and go above your head every 24 hours. It doesn't speed up and slow down, but then make it back to cross your meridian point every single day. exactly 24 hours. No, this is a complete virtual reality proof, right? And it's only possible when you understand the Andrew Marsh website and the way that it's predicted and the way that it's being shown. And we've continued to show it for over 8 years now. We've been continuing to fight for the same truth. And ask these other channels. Go on, anyone that's tuned in, go and ask Q which model of reality he thinks that he lives on. And you can't use the AE map. It only has one pole. And after the equator, the lines of longitude and latitude, they can't get wider. Right? They have to converge to a single point because that's the way that the actual measurements of the reality work. So I'm excited to get into it, you know, and I hope you on the other side of the screen don't just listen to what Jason and I say, search it, check what we have to say, back check it, go and verify it. Listen, if you can correct us, please do it. We would always like to be corrected and stand on a higher level of truth.
We're going to be using real science, real formulas, real footage, and we're not going to be talking about apparent things and all that type of nonsense. We're going to put this out into something that you can test and verify for yourselves, everyone. And we got a lot to go through. So unless if there's anything else that you want to cover right now, brother,
no.
Would you say we get into it?
Let's go. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
And we are back with Comet Atlas. which I'm pretty excited about because
Yeah.
for years now we've been hearing about comets and we've been told you go out here, you look this direction, you might need binoculars, and every single time we've checked, nothing. But this time was different. So this was from a couple of days ago, and this is just with an iPhone, everybody, not even a new one. It's like a 14. And so if you have something like an iPhone, within a couple of years, you can do a long exposure picture. And it didn't look like this to my eyes. I don't have the greatest eyesight. But it was just a faint little white streak here in the sky. But as soon as you put the phone up there and you started to do a long exposure picture, you could see, it's scanning multiple times. And then it, if you hold still, it compiles all that information together in a picture. And the comet actually sort of jumps out and is pretty obvious.
Yeah, I can see it. It looked that way to my naked eye. But it definitely brightens up when you do the long exposure footage, just like the stars, too. And you can do that with most cameras.
Yeah, so
Have to find the right setting.
I know that it's supposed to be getting fainter, and it's getting higher and higher without as much of a tail. But still, go out and try it, everybody. It's not that hard. If this was 260 degrees west for us, so just a little bit south of west. West would be like over here, and then 260, so you can use the compass on your phone. And it's depending on the time of night, this was a little bit after sunset, and boom, there it is. I mean, what do you think that is, brother?
Yeah, well, it's a celestial body, right, likened unto the stars, and it has a trail. I would like it to be something biblical, but that's just what I want, right? But I do know that everything that's in the heavens is light, right? And it's made out of light, and it appears in a beautiful way. And I was super excited to see it. I've always wanted to see a comet. I remember when I was really young, there was a cartoon on that was called Halley's Comet, and the characters would ride. They would catch it with a fishing net, and I was always awe-inspired by it. And so the other night, I guess it was Sunday. I think it was Sunday that we took these pictures. It was 10:15 at 8:17. So that was, Sunday night, I guess, or Tuesday night. I can't remember perfectly. It was 10:18. So to come out and actually see it, it was just like, wow, I got super excited. I've always wanted to see a comet. And there was you can talk about, are they ominous? Are comets signs of destruction? Are they warning signs? I absolutely believe that comets are signs. They're put up in the heavens as a marker point for the people on Earth, the inhabitants, us, to behold it and to say, what is going on? And usually wars, famines, pestilence could very well be the marker or the white horse rider, because it sure looks like a white comet riding through the sky. And let's say that you didn't know what modern technology was. You could sort of think that maybe that was a type of a horse riding through the sky.
I have heard that they are omens of disaster. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I have studied it, because all the other times where we've heard that there would be a comet, I've been excited. Like I said, I've been trying to see one since I was a little kid when I watched the cartoon. And sure, lo and behold, this year we went outside. You said, it's time to check for the comet, Ron. I said, all right, I'm going to check. And then Tuesday, I can see the comet. I was like, this is insane. And we got the cameras out and we started filming. And like I said, this is a cell phone picture. I was able to take it too with a 2-second long exposure. So what you have to do if you have an iPhone or an Android, what you have to do is find the setting in your phone that allows it to take a long exposure picture. I think they're only 2 or 3 seconds now if you have a newer phone, and you hold the phone as still as you can and it click, and you just stay there while it captures the light. It pulls in as much light as it can, and it's just magnificent.
Yeah, so this is just standard pictures from cell phones, and then we also did a video with the P1000. And that looks a little bit different.
Time lapse.
Yeah, so what this is it's a time lapse night sky, but it's not star trails. So people are probably familiar with the star trails where you will see these things end up being streaks going through the screen. But what the camera's doing here is it's just taking its long exposure picture and then the next one and the next one, and it puts it together in a little movie. So 150 images ends up being a 10-second video clip. So it's not that long. I can hit play on here, and this right here is the comet. Watch it go down.
Another interesting thing to mark is that the comet is actually an Ophiuchus, or what could be generally looked at as a huge man in the sky holding, like gripping onto a snake, getting ready to throw it down to the earth, right? So cool that it's actually in that spot. So if you can see it's faint, this is where it's starting to get more faint. And the interesting thing is you can actually see the light of the sky. And on the right side of the screen, you're actually seeing planes fly by. And you can see just so many amazing things, all kinds of flying things in the heavens. Now, I don't know if they're all planes, right? I do know biblically that there are many angelic beings up in the higher places of earth in the sky. And if you have like night vision glasses, apparently it's just insane when you look up in the sky.
Yeah, so that was quick, right? I mean, we saw it go down. We live in a flight path, so you can see the planes coming in on the side. They're pretty cool. And then you see the rest of the stars all rotating at this angle right here. That is the tilt based on our latitude. So we're at about 30 degrees north latitude. And so Polaris up here is where everything's rotating around. And the South Pole is below the horizon here. So you see this rotating arc. We could bring this up in different sun simulator programs and show you that whole path. But here we go again. We've got the comet going down and the rotation of the rest of the stars. And these are called the fixed stars.
There were wandering ones, we think. It looks like Mars. So you'll see the different color variations in the luminaries, and you can generally pick out which they are. And there are other red stars in the sky too. Blue, red, white.
Yeah, so these there's no parallax. They stay within the same position all the time in relation to each other. And this is just one constant rotation that goes around every single 24 hours. And like you said, there are the fixed ones that move within the ecliptic. There's the sun and the moon that are a little bit slower than the rest of these. And now, for the first time, we have a comet, which is super exciting in my opinion. So
yeah. And the wandering stars are able to retrograde. And they move throughout the fixed constellations. The fixed stars don't change their position. They just continue to rotate at their speed.
Which means they can actually go a little bit faster than the fixed stars at certain times.
Yeah, they're wonderful. I really want everyone to get out there, and we'll continue to do some more filming. This has just been a great test to start using the P1000, and I think the light too is really cool. The way you can see the light setting there.
Yeah, the different bands of the gradient in the sky, right?
Yeah. But that's
so that
inspired to get everybody out there and start filming for yourself.
Yeah, because after hearing about comets so many times, going out trying to spot them and see them and being skunked over and over and over, we were starting to think that it was a psyop and that we were never going to see a comet until this one. This was the first one we actually caught. So that is a get out and do, everybody. Check that out. And the next thing we would like to get into is a response to Nachiketa. And so he reached out to you recently. He sent you an email 4 or 5 days ago saying, I think it's time for us to have a conversation, right?
Yeah, that's correct. He asked, and he was hoping to have us on.
Yeah. So we are responding with a little bit in the way of terms, but I think that's super, super fair. I think everybody will agree that it's super, super fair. And so what I want to do is show everybody what we are responding with, and then we're going to hit send on this. And hopefully Nach will actually tune in and watch this whole podcast, because there's more things that are going to be coming out tonight that we would like to ask him about. So the way this reads is, hello Nach, Jason responding here. I agree we should have a conversation. We are some of the very few content creators that are doing active coverage of the so-called final experiment, and you and I share the unique common experience of having both been raised in Ripon, Wisconsin. That could be a whole conversation of its own, and I think it would be a fun one. I hold nothing against you personally, but the more important topic is the discussion regarding the true nature of our reality. And Ron and I immediately let the Flat Earth Coffee guy, I don't remember his actual name, know, but he knows who he is, that the azimuthal equidistant projection, that is the single pole pressurized pizza dome, is not only wrong, but completely irrational. When you ended up on his show, we began telling you the same thing. We have treated every person that continues to support the single pole pressurized pizza dome model after we have pointed out that it's not just false, but also irrational, the same. We consider them to be enemy combatants in a game of spiritual warfare because we know that they are supporting something that is not true. You all of a sudden began interviewing popular fake flat earth channels and became Pat Steer 2.0. And that is why I called you a jackass. Because we had already told you time and time again that the single pole pressurized pizza dome crew are promoting a false irrational model. For 8 years now, both Ron and I have been going against every person that supports the fake flat earth model. Now finally, after you listen to Jake the Asshole and QNFee explain to you the impossibilities of the single pole pressurized pizza dome, you finally understand that model is false and irrational. That is great. Maybe now you can see why I would call you a jackass for supporting all the fake flat earthers. Once you see how easy it is to falsify any single pole models of reality, you will see everyone you know that supports a single pole model of reality turn into a jackass as well. Look at the way you have become with Jaron. There's a point where someone is no longer just ignorant, they are obviously evil and deserving being mocked publicly. One thing I would like to know from you is, what model do you support now that you have abandoned the single pole pressurized pizza dome? The thing I find most interesting about you is that not only are you a plain earther that can see the impossibilities of a single pole pressurized pizza dome model, but you also believe Earth is not fixed and stationary and that it is rising. So here is another topic where we are opponents of each other. When I told you before that you need to put your big boy pants on, what I meant was that it is okay to recognize your opponent as your opponent. When I asked Will Duffy for an interview, he already knew that I was an opponent, but he still came and had the conversation. As you can see, I can treat my opponents with respect and we can have civil conversations, but there is no need to pretend that we are not opponents. Since Ron and I are the only two people with a model of reality that has a 3D model that is accurate to 1/100th of a degree per second anywhere on Earth, any day of the year, and the model does not have Earth moving, the observer is fixed and stationary, we would love to have you explain your upwards rising Earth theory. Can you please send us your best evidence for Earth rising so that we can study your theory? We would like to understand your reasoning better and then have you present your evidence for Earth rising yourself. We are the ones that have fundamental truth number 2 that dates back to February of 2018 that predicted and called out the false dichotomy psyop taking place with the final experiment. We are the OGs of this narrative and we want control to be able to share our side of things. I have a solution that I think might be perfect. Instead of arguing about us coming on your channel or you coming on our channel, let's meet in the middle. Let's have a Zoom meeting and we'll broadcast it live to Awake Souls, and you can broadcast that Zoom meeting live to your channel. You can screen share all you want of your evidence, and we will screen share ours. Your people in your chat can say whatever they want to say, and our people can be in our chat. Please accept this invitation and give us an idea of when would be a good time for you to have a call like this. Please send us the videos you will be using in your presentation. We would like to get studied up on what your true position is. Hope you are enjoying being back in the U.S. and looking forward to your response, Ron and Jason. You see any issues with that, brother?
Go ahead, hit send.
All right.
Yeah,
we will see if he responds.
Yeah, it would be nice to do the hangout to talk, and I've got questions for him too. Like, first off, what's his name? His name isn't Nachiketa Fire. That's an Indian. I don't want to be derogatory. It's a positive character. That's about healing and being positive. But what's his name? Do you know his name? Does anybody in the chat know what Nachiketa Fire's actual name is? The guy that had the long hair, that was living in, I think, Nepal, that moved back to Rose 777's house. What's his name?
All I know is he asked me if I knew Melinda Bowen.
Yeah.
And I do, because I did grow up in Ripon, and he said that was his sister. So I don't know if he had the same last name as Melinda. Maybe he's a Bowen.
A Bowen? Yeah, I don't need to know his last name. I just want to know his first name. I don't want to call him Nachiketa. That's not his name. I don't feel comfortable constantly calling somebody that. I'd like to know his name. But to the conversation will be great. I'm very excited to hear more about his upward rising Earth theory. You know, it's becoming a very popular topic with since the false dichotomy experiment has come out. People are running to find other avenues to spend their time now, because they know that the AE Mappa model is debunked, even though it's been debunked for over 8 years. Well, even before I met you, Jason, I was on a podcast with Laurie Frary and Lawrence Wright, and we were just shredding the living daylights out of the AE Mappa model for a long time. And, you know, flat earthers are so, once you wake up from a lie and you get indoctrinated into another lie, it's even harder. It's even harder for people to shed that lie. But because of Will Doofus, or Duffy, I don't need to make fun of him, because of Will and his supposed experiment, people are seeing that the people that they were following, like Jaron Campanella and Witsit Doesn't Get It, all these characters are now not saying that the Earth is flat and that they believe in that model. Eric Dubay, and now they're looking for something to spend their time being a part of, and the Upwards Rising Earth crew seems to be where they want to go. So I'm excited to hear more. I hope that this channel, I guess his name is Nachiketa, but I want to know his real name so I can properly address him. He's the one who's pushing that theory, and he's going to have the answers for us. I'm excited.
And what a small world. I mean, there's only 2 upwards rising earthers that I know of on Earth, and one of them's from Ripon. So I would like to talk to Notch about that. That would be great. So that's an order of business taken care of. Let's go ahead and jump into this guy. What do you know about this guy?
Well, so I've been following the channels, as always, keeping tabs on the people that are rising in the different social media outlets. And there was another guy that was before him, just as obnoxious. His name was Casey. He was the up and rising star, but he had a kid and he quit. He doesn't do anything that much anymore. So here comes this guy, Tyler Hansen, I think is his name. Don't quote me. I don't know for sure. But he calls himself the fittest flat earther. I guess he's an ex-bodybuilder. So I basically caught on to what he was doing, and he was heavily promoting Girth deep inside the Rabbit Holes app, the tracker app that the government created as a psyop with the false, again, pressurized pizza dome single pole reality that's set up to be debunked this winter.
Just got done having...
Oops.
So he comes along. He's got his own like queue number. If you sign up for David's app, you can click on it and add fittest flat earther, and you get it for a discount. So I instantly caught on that this guy was a shill. He does share some of the death fakers, but he makes everything just outlandish. He goes too far. And so we've been tracking him. We've been all over it. He's doing some grifts where he's trying to get people to support him now financially, because he supposedly was a teacher and he couldn't change the students from within. So he quit being a teacher in Chicago, and now he's found himself living in Florida.
comfortably, doing really well. All he does is make social media posts as the fittest flat earther. He's got this stupid hat on that says ice wall, which has been debunked, right? There's no 60,000 mile ice wall around you, right? If you travel south and you go 180 degrees, you will come to an icy continent called Antarctica, but you can cross it. There's boats that sail around it. The whole entire AE Mappa model is a setup fail to be debunked. So he's come along, and then, so it was just a few days ago, he puts this video out proclaiming some of the most outlandish, crazy evidence that you could ever imagine. Now, he's got over 500,000 subscribers on TikTok. What they've done on TikTok is they've boosted the views. They've boosted the amount of interactions that people are having. They've boosted it all the same way that YouTube used to do it, so that they can create more equity in their company. This is the common thing that Facebook did, Instagram did, YouTube did it, all the different social media sites, TikTok, Twitter, they all did this, okay? TikTok is the newest one to do it. It creates more of a buzz. So he's very popular on there. He makes this content, and he comes out with this video. And again, we've been showing people now for over 8 years that if you're 6 feet tall and you're standing on the sea, on the ocean, or a lake, or anywhere at sea level, and you're looking out throughout the world, right? Anything that you see, once it reaches 3 miles, becomes obscured from the bottom up. And depending on how tall that object is how far you can actually see it. So the world record right now is an observation of Mount Everest from Kathmandu. Kathmandu is a mountain itself, and it's looking at the tallest mountain on Earth, and it can only be seen from 120 miles away. And that's the only verified, documented proof that's not CGI'd or faked. Okay, so this guy's come out in this video. We're going to get into it. He's saying that with his cell phone from sea level, he's seeing the buildings in Savannah, Georgia, right? Is it Georgia? Or is it
Charleston. Charleston.
Yeah.
Yeah, Savannah's like half. I think Savannah's halfway. He's going like a full 200 miles or something. And yeah, as you mentioned, ice wall. No, so what he's doing is he's one of the fake flat earthers. He's a circle earther, which is a single pole earther, which is so debunkable. We will be debunking the single pole earth over and over and over tonight. The single pole earth requires this sun to be moving away from you. This should shrink into a dot, and it should have been way larger directly overhead, and it should have started as a dot. So it would only take maybe a 5-year-old's mental capacity to be able to see a sun coming towards you and going away from you. Right? It really wouldn't take much more than a 5-year-old's mind to be able to see that it's coming towards you and then going away from you. Yet what really takes place is the sun goes down and sets into Earth, and then rises from Earth. That's what all the models that map the path of the sun show, all of them. So let's go ahead and check this out. Stop me anywhere you want throughout this, brother.
Grabbler is Grabbler intro. He's got a schnoz going on there, you know, and he's got his tiny hat on.
I just got done having my mind blown, so if my mind is blown with what I just experienced, you better hang on to your seats. Let's start with this 34-mile line of sight I had from north to south, and check out how it looks. Let me first show you that over the course of 34 miles, there should be approximately 770 feet of curvature.
All right, so one of the things that we're going to be doing is going through the curvature calcs and showing that basically every curvature calc that you've seen is wrong, everyone, and it comes way far short. We'll be showing you.
And from one end of the 34 miles here, straight, flat.
What he's doing here is pointing out your circle of sight and your distance to the horizon. It runs a circle all the way around you, and from his level here, it's 3 miles. You can only see 3 miles to the edge.
Well, until things start disappearing from the bottom up. So depending on how high it is, you can still see it.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. I want people to go out and actually film buildings from across lakes and do the actual experiment, because this guy's banking on you not doing it. Because what ends up happening is you start to lose floors of the building. Listen, a boat that sails away, this is how they were able to prove that the supposed Earth was curved, was because when Robotham wasn't conclusive when they did the 3 Mile Bedford level experiment, they went and started to film lighthouses, and they moved further and further away. And what happened was they saw less and less of the lighthouse. And this is an actual, it's a demanded fact on a flat plane, right? It's due to the fact that we have what is called the vanishing point. But let's get into it. We'll get to that after.
So I just want to point out, he said 34 miles here. But what that's requiring is being in the center and seeing 17 miles one way, 17 miles the other way. And that is possible if you have buildings that are tall enough out at the horizon. So he's not seeing 34 miles.
No.
He's seeing 17 miles in one direction and 17 miles in the other for a total of 34 miles, but he's not going to tell you that.
Check out how it looks. Let me first show you that over the course of 34 miles, there should be approximately 770 feet of curvature. And from one end of the 34 miles here, straight, straight, flat, flat, straight, straight, flat, 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 flat.
So he's just trying to trigger people here by acting like an idiot.
To the other.
And again, he's only seeing 3 miles. So it's a 9 mile circle all around him. Okay. So watch out for these shells, and go figure he's got what is that? A pagan Thor hammer?
Yeah.
What kind of symbol is that? I don't even know what kind of symbol. I'll do more research and find out exactly what symbol he's got around his neck.
Some sort of trident type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's from Star Trek. So when he points over to this side, there is no building. There's no tall thing off in the distance here. And if you actually tracked out how far this point is here, the farthest thing that you see, that might be 4 miles, 5 miles,
and
right?
The quality of his content, the fact that it's a repetitive only 1 to 3 minute video that he does, right, completely destroys your ability to create synapses in the memory links to your mind. So they're fracturing your mind as well. It's truncated, it's cut off. This guy doesn't know how to use YouTube. He doesn't know how to do a live stream. He doesn't even know how to correctly edit videos. He just does these stupid TikToks. And look, where's the rest of his arm? Horrible quality. It's like shit posting video editors. You know, shit posting is like when you make a meme. This is a shit post video.
I don't know how he even qualified as a teacher.
Yeah, well, I think he was physical education. Again, he was a body. Right?
Yeah, bodybuilder.
End of the 34 miles. Where's that 700 feet of curvature? But I haven't even begun, because this morning I was walking that same beach with a sunrise backlighting what appeared to be buildings in the very distance.
All right, so he's pointing to this. He says these are buildings in the distance. Let's take a nice close look at this. Remember this in your mind, everybody. You see this. Then you see these lines right here. He's pointing to that. That's the original footage that he's referencing, but he's going to show us something completely different coming up.
Yeah.
Right.
Background, and I thought to myself, no way, because the angle of those buildings was pointing right to Charleston, South Carolina. And even I, as the person I am, thought, no, couldn't be.
Yeah, it can't.
I couldn't
No.
possibly be seeing Charleston, South Carolina.
It literally can't.
193.62 miles from a elevation of approximately 6 feet above the water.
Okay, you guys, okay? He is so disingenuous. The energy coming out of this guy is so putrid, and his level of intelligence is just straight out mockery. He doesn't have any idea about his surroundings, nor has he done any tests or filmed anything. He's just TikTok famous. Okay, so you can't see 193 miles from the ground level. Listen, every single person that's been in the flat earth knows this, that's on YouTube. Okay, we've been banging it home for years now, right? Inside of a mall, Jason can put his camera on the floor and someone can walk to the end of the hallway and their feet disappear. That's just in a hallway. We're talking, he's trying to see 193 miles. Let's keep going here. This is hilarious, everyone. I hope you're holding on to your seats.
193 miles away, right? I mean, 193 miles away at an observer height of 6 feet would give you 24,000 feet of curvature. That would have to be some pretty nifty refraction.
Hold
That
on
would
a
have to be
second. Isn't that the size of the sphere? He's saying he can see all the way around the ball.
No, that's
Oh yeah, I know.
feet. Yeah, so he converts it to miles. He's saying that there's 4.5 miles of drop in 193 miles, and that's not even true, right? We're going to be showing everybody that's not true.
What it means is that if it was true, that the building would have to be 4.5 miles tall just to see the very tip of it from that vantage point.
I don't think there's any buildings that tall. Nope.
refraction showing me a mirage over 4.5 miles tall. I mean, that's some pretty impressive light refraction. Because although blurry, because I didn't have my
So hold
trusty
on,
Nikon
pause it.
camera.
So obviously these idiots are pulling the Kanagawa disinformation Sly Sparkane trick. The footage, the picture that you see, zoom in, please. Unless you want to explain this.
Well, I would like to point out that the picture that he has right here is absolutely nothing like what he originally shot.
So the original video of his first picture that he showed was nothing like this. It was like a wispy boat. Go back to it in one spot. It's probably a boat.
Buildings in the very
Yeah. So that's what he first zoom in on that. That's what he shows, right? Okay. That's what he shows. It looks like it could be a boat, but it could be nothing. So let's go back to what he's showing here in the next clip. And I'll show everybody and tell you what he's done. So it's crazy. So first off, if you look carefully at the image below, on the right side, what you see is the pixelated pixels of a white out frame where it's been masked into the picture. So what we actually have here, again, anybody that's done any research knows that even if you were still seeing something, you are not going to be seeing all of the building on the right. The like 10 floors would be gone. Okay. So what he's done is he's taken the top picture and literally pasted it into the bottom picture and then dragged the opacity down and made it blurry. That's it. That's it. It's a stupid, these carnival tricks that these clowns are actually doing. And, you know, he's not approachable. He doesn't answer comments. He doesn't respond to anything. I guess you got to pay him. You got to send them money. I don't know, like Eric Dubay and all these shows, you got to pay these guys to get responses. There's no way, listen, if you were to see, so even the pictures of 30 miles away, when you're seeing tall buildings at 30 miles, you're only seeing the tops of the buildings, right? The bottoms are always obscured due to the fact that they're beyond the vanishing point, okay? And this is something that everybody can test for yourself. Listen, I'm not trying to fool anybody. Jason are here because we are here for the truth. And this is what we're passionate about, the truth of our reality. This guy here is a shill lying to you. If you don't see how he's taken the top picture and tried to paste it into the bottom picture, you are not paying attention.
Well, it's coming up because he shows them pasted together. Watch.
I compared what I was seeing to Charleston and their skyline, and when I literally asked the locals there what that was.
So he went to Charleston and asked the locals, what is that, right? He's in Florida. He just went up to Charleston. What do you think that is, everybody? Here's what they said to him.
They said they didn't know, but it seemed to be there only in the mornings.
It's only in the morning.
Sun.
Hang on.
If you're in Charleston, where is the sun in the morning?
It's not there.
It's out over the ocean, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't rise from behind Charleston from that vantage point. But listen, you see where the sun is in this picture, right, everybody? This is the sun setting. And you're looking at Charleston from the ocean, okay? It's not a sun. Everything about this clown is backwards and disinformation. So as you can see the sun here, let's go back to his footage that he's got. Where's the sun?
Oh,
He's saying that this is only possible because the sun's behind it. Listen, the sun actually rises and sets at your vanishing point. 3 miles away at sea level, everybody. Well, 3 to 7 miles, or roughly. We Jason and I don't know everything. We just tell you that we can focus in on things closer than 10 miles. That's it. So, again, everything that he says in this video is an absolute lie.
Where's the sun here? He said the Charleston. He said the Charleston people say it only happens when the sun's behind the buildings, right?
It's so crazy. It's such a liar, this guy.
I literally asked the locals there what that was. They said they didn't know. But it seemed to be there only in the mornings, when the sun is backlighting the buildings. So you...
The sun backlighting the buildings in the morning. I mean, come on. It's on the ocean. Where do you think the sun rises?
Show the map again that he's got. His map that he showed.
Oh,
you can point this out so people are laughing at him.
Yeah.
If you were viewing from St. Augustine, if you're viewing up there, Jason, where does the sun rise from?
The sun rises in the east over here.
Out there. It does not rise from Charleston. It would be up in the sky way above by the time it got to there, okay? From the person who's in Jacksonville, the sun rises due east almost. It's
out here.
Way over there where Jason's cursor is. So the sun would never backlight that city. It just shows how ridiculously stupid he is. No, he's not stupid. He's purposely doing this. He is a bought and paid for shill agent with his ice wall hat. Yeah, buddy. You think
ice wall shill.
That was an ice wall. And he's this big, tough bodybuilder guy. Well, you don't scare me. I think you're a clown. He doesn't respond to anything. So we'll do what we do. We'll continue to expose and bring to the light all of his lies and disinformation. And we'll tag it and we'll make sure that people searching for the truth will find it. That's why we're here. We don't care if we get one view. If we get our videos are linked to you, Fit Flat Earther Tyler, and anytime somebody searches to see dirt on you, our video is going to show up. So hope you enjoy that.
So you can see. And when you do an overlay, especially...
Oh, he did an overlay for us, huh?
Wow, look at that.
Look at that. So he overlaid the city of Charleston.
There it is. There it is, everybody. That is how he did it. And all he did was drag the opacity down more. And he's used that as his evidence. Look at that.
That's it. That's how he did it.
Shills expose themselves in their own content.
You can look, you can see the spires from 193 miles away. Get out of here. He shows you. I mean,
his face, man.
This image back here, right? They just brought the opacity down more. This was the overlay image. And then he shows it to you right here.
I think he's been doing too much HGH. It's gotten conscience. He's a little too slow. Be thinking he's literally showing you how he faked it.
There it is.
That's how he faked it, everyone. Ta-da!
Like literally facing directly at those buildings, and the fact that I was there
and
early in the morning.
So there's no evidence that he was facing that way either. He's just facing out to the sea. He doesn't have a compass in the shot. He doesn't have anything documenting any of what he's saying.
So the only way you can have a low setting sun like this is for the sun to be setting, for you to be out in the water and looking west from the water into Charleston to be able to get this shot. That's the only way.
Yeah, the sun is behind you rising. Like I said, everything that he did in this video is backwards. And that's what they do in the Church of Satan or the Freemasons or whatever. They just lie. That's his job, right? He's paid for it. And, he's begging for more money, apparently.
So let's listen to him out.
He seems to match pretty darn well as well. Well, then at a certain point, you really, really, really need to ask yourself if you really live on one of those. But of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know I live on one of these, and although it looks different from picture to picture, I don't question that. Because why would they lie? Do you know how big the lie would have to be for them to pull off something like this? And I mean, what would be the purpose of it? It's not like this would make you think that God didn't exist and we just evolved from monkeys from a big bang accident and we're spinning endlessly in an infinite universe. And
That is what it would make you think.
oh, this would never do that. This is all for entertainment purposes, of course.
So again, what they do, we've been showing for years, it's documented in our description box, the 10 fundamental truths. They come out here with discredible disinformation so that the handler can come along. Jason and I are always too quick to debunk it before the handler can come along. But what they've done is censor us. They've taken my YouTube channel down and they censor Jason's channel. And they let us come here because they don't want us to break out of our sandbox that they put us in. They leave us alone. Nobody gets to see it. We debunk it before the handler comes and debunks it, because what happens when the handler debunks his disinformation? They say that you live on the sphere, and yes, there's no creator. You did evolve from monkeys. Because other than that, you got to believe this guy's lies that he's telling you he saw 93 miles away and the sun was backlighting it. And when the sun was actually rising like 40 degrees azimuth to the actual east of his picture. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, guys.
And this guy discredits everything that he says all the time by saying, oh, this is just for entertainment purposes. It's all a joke.
And he does the satanic wink.
Wink, wink, wink.
You know, it's tough guys like this. Sometimes I wish that, you know, we didn't just have to settle things here on YouTube.
Freemason scum is all I can say.
Yeah.
So let's get into the curvature formulas a little bit and see whether or not he could be seeing something from 193 miles away. So I just whipped this together tonight so that we could have a little something to reference off of. But the popular but wrong curvature formula, everybody's probably heard this one before. Let's all say it together at once. 8 inches per mile squared. All right, you've heard that.
Yeah, that's the popular term.
Everybody says that's the curvature, 8 inches per mile squared. Well, it actually ends up woefully short of the amount of curvature that would be necessary if we were on a ball of 3959 miles radius. So the way we can prove that, and we've covered this in a recent live stream, we'll make some references, but every degree based on the the coordinate system is 60 nautical miles a say. They say 1 degree is 60 nautical miles, and because there's 360 degrees, that ends up being, where is it? Thought I had it. Might be here. Yeah, so you would need to travel 360 times 60, which is 21,600 nautical miles. So if you turn that into statute miles, it's 24,857. If you change it into kilometers, it's 40,003. Right, so what it is really is 360 60-degree mile segments, but that's nautical miles. So let's go ahead and bring this back up again. 1 nautical mile is 69 statute miles. So we're going to do the curvature for 1 degree, or 69 miles squared. 69 times 69 equals 4,761. 4,761 times 8 inches equals 38,088 inches. 38,088 inches equals 3,174 feet. And 3,174 feet equals 0.6 miles. All right? That is what the 8 inches per mile squared gives you as far as curvature is concerned. But we recently did a hangout, and the geometric curvature, if you have 1 degree per 60 nautical miles, solved geometrically, that's 1.2 miles. So let's go ahead and show you that quick. And this was in our stream from the last Flat Earth Friday, the last Flattoberfest. And so here we are solving for it geometrically. And when you put out the amount of feet in SketchUp, for 69 miles, and then you draw a circle, and then you zoom in on it, and you take a measurement here, you're going to find that it's 6,300, and it's a little small to read here, 6362, but it's almost another foot. So 6363 feet. All right, that's the amount of curvature that there would be for real, geometrically. There's no arguing this. Somebody come along and show us otherwise. But if you draw a circle that has a radius of 69 miles and put 1 degree on here and then measure, you're going to see that it's 1.2 miles of curvature. So in case you forgot, the 8 inches per mile squared gives you 0.6 miles of curvature. Doing it geometrically, you get 1.2 miles of curvature. All right, so it's only half the amount of curvature that there would be if Earth really was a ball of 3959 radius, right?
Right. They've halved it because it would just be so crazy. People would be like, well, why aren't we seeing the curve like that when you just go up in the air a little bit from a plane?
Well, here's an interesting thing that we'll get to here. So the distance to the horizon. So these things were about curvature, right? This is a curvature calculator, the geometric curvature. Now all of a sudden we're talking about something distance to the horizon. And this we covered in detail in this stream a year ago. That was June 23rd of 2023. It was a Flat Earth Friday, Perspective 2.0, the circle of sight and the distance to the horizon explained. So here we are talking about the 8 inches per mile squared and the geometric curvature, because remember, with that 8 inches per mile squared, you should be able to multiply 3959 times 3959 times 8 inches, then reduce it down to your feet and then miles, and then you're going to see that you don't get back to 3959. This right here, you should get to 3959 if it was a correct formula, but it doesn't. And we're just going to keep showing that to everybody. But then what we get into is that there is an actual formula for calculating the distance to the horizon, and that is the square root of the height times this. This we have a more updated and more accurate. It says 1.23, that's rounded off. It's 1.22459 is the calculation. So if we bring that up, all right, this is what we would need to see 69 miles. Let's go back here, and I'll just do this on the fly. But for 69 miles here, let's bring up our calculator. You're going to find this a little bit interesting. So we're checking for 69 miles. So we're going to go 69, and we're going to take the square root of that, and we're going to times it times 1.22459. Something didn't work out right there. I'm going to clean this out. 69 squared. No, I want square root. I don't know why I'm not getting the answer I was expecting. We're checking. Yeah, we're checking
the height squared.
Distance to the horizon. Oh, because I'm doing a height here. Let me go to the next slide, and then we'll work backwards. I see what I was doing wrong. All right, to see 69 miles, it would be 69 divided by 1.22459, which equals 56.34, and then 56.34 squared equals 3174.80. So to see 69 miles, you would need to be 3,174.8 feet high using that formula. All right, so remember this 3174, and we go back here to our curvature formula, and that was what we solved for when we did the 8 inches per mile squared. We got 3174. Right, the 0.6 miles, but that's the distance to the horizon. Right, so 8 inches per mile squared is not curvature, but it's actually the distance to the horizon. Did you follow that? And I know I got a little bit lost for a second.
Yeah, can keep going. Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, I just want to bang home the point again that this 8 inches per mile squared gave us half the amount of curvature necessary as far as what the geometric curvature would be. But the distance to the horizon calculator, the square root of the height in feet times 1.22459, actually gave us 3174. All right, so to see 69 miles, you would have to be 3,174.8 feet high. Do you think that he was 3,174 feet high on the beach?
No, he was 6 feet high.
Well, then he couldn't have even seen 69 miles. All right, so let's go ahead and show everybody. We'll bring up the formula again. Square root of the height in feet times 1.2249. He said he was 6 feet high. Let's get our calculator.
To the vanishing point, to the horizon.
All right, so 6 square root times 1.22459.
27.
Yeah. What? That's not. I gotta zero this out. Square root of the 6.
6 feet squared
Square root
times 2.44.
1.22459. There we go. So there's your
3 miles.
3 miles to the horizon at 6 feet.
And so
It's really close, right?
Yeah, anything beyond that. Do you have the Mall Angel video on? Or no? Up.
No, but I can grab it.
I mean, just keep going. I want people to do their own research. We'll get into this again. We'll cover how far we can see and what actually takes place, because there's tons of evidence, and I would like people to go out and actually film for themselves. Zoom in on places across bodies of water, and you're going to see that this is absolutely true. This is measurable, verifiable, and it's zetetic in every form of what the word zetetic is, okay? And it absolutely is what we expect on a flat plane. This is how your vision works on a flat plane. This is why it looks like things are sailing over the supposed curve, they say. It doesn't sail over any curve. It happens because we can only see so far to what we have as a vanishing point, depending on your elevation. And this is exactly what it demands. So anybody that tells you, if anyone tells you they see an observation that doesn't follow this mathematical formula, is lying to you. And they're a shill, purposely trying to misinform you so that you can be disinformed.
All right, so let's do this distance to the horizon calculation for the 193 feet. This is to see 69 miles. You would have to be at 3,174 feet. So, to solve for this, clear this out, we're going to go 193 divided by 1.22459, and then we're going to square that. So you sort of do things in reverse, and you would have to be 24,838 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm. To see that far, which
to see
was proclaiming.
Exactly.
And again, if anybody tells you any different, you send them this video and tell them that they're a shill and they're lying to you.
Yep. Can't see that far, everybody. So
I guess we're at a music break. Or no, you do have that video up, huh?
no, we can.
No, this is the distance to the vanishing point right here. The two people on those ships right there, right, as you can see. So the mast has a certain height that it can be seen from, and the bottom of the ship has a certain distance that it can be seen from. And until the two ships completely cross into the circles of sight, then they can fully see each other, right? This is the way that it works on a flat plane, not curved. If it was curved, there would be a totally different angle, and the tangent line would be angled away from the observer, backwards up into the sky.
Absolutely. So everybody go back, check this one out from a year ago. It shows everything about perspective as far as how far you can see from what elevation. And that's how we can know that guys like that ice wall earther, the fittest flat earther, is just making shit up that's absolutely ridiculous.
And disinforming people, misinforming them so that they can be debunked, and then someone could say, yeah, of course we live on a ball. You followed this idiot. They do it purposely. And again, all you need to know, the people who have the massive followings that have the large amount of views, even if they get 200, 300 live streamers, they are being promoted because they are lying.
All right, well, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and get into the QNFee stuff.
Shouting crimson and clover over your shoulder. Threw down your phone, we had nowhere to be. Your hair was blowing, strawberry golden. You're scared to be open like the gap in your teeth. Is this just how it feels to get older? I've been trying to get back to the moment. Falling in the ultraviolet indigo shining. I'm just trying to find you. Time keeps flying high up in the sky, and I'm just trying to find you.
And we are back with the Banjo guy. This guy is something else. Something else. So this is on QNFee's channel. Posted a day ago, called Flat Earth Banjo. And we have timestamps. We're going to try to trim as much out of this as we can, but there's a fair amount of it that we need to go through, and it's pretty important. All right, so there's us that have a model of reality, and then there's this guy and an asshole that think that they can debunk it. And then there's a whole group of people that want to follow those guys even though they don't have any model. But they come along and they act like they can debunk the AE map a model, and then they continue to use it, which is one of the most crazy things I've ever come across. But yet they still try to do it. And so, I don't know, there's this Banjo guy. I just want to say that I don't think that Biden is a bumbling idiot. I don't think he's senile. I think he's an actor pretending to be a bumbling idiot, senile type character. And same with this guy right here, Flat Earth Banjo. My guess is that he's not as dumb as he sounds and acts, but he's playing a part because he actually knows how to support the things that are psyops. Right? He doesn't just randomly say stupid stuff. He says the stupid stuff that gets picked up by other agents and promoted. And there's going to be a bunch of that here. So he's an AE mapper. This is the guy that Russian Vids said will continue on even after the final experiment, right?
Yeah, he did.
So you're going to have Russian Vids, you're going to have Flat Earth Banjo, Eric DeBay, Nathan Oakley, and that might be about it after the final experiment. Those are going to have to be your leaders if you want to continue to believe in this.
Influencers, they're not leaders.
Yeah, well, cult leaders. Cult leaders,
yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. I've got some sort of big blocks of time that I have timestamped, but I expect you to be saying stop and us covering stuff quite a bit as we go through this. So let's go ahead and get into it, and stop me anytime you want, brother.
Yeah, oh, and hopefully maybe QNFee is in the chat, or anybody else that we ever talk about. The invitation for you to join us and defend yourself is always open. And if you don't, if you're not in the chat, if you're not in the comment sections, you are submitting that you accept everything that we're showing is true. Unless you come and defend yourself, you're admitting defeat. And this is a pretty shilly accusation being cast against the QNFee character.
Yeah, he's going very globe earther. Very globe.
A flat, sky, just like.
And we have Notch, who's involved in this as well. So this is another reason why we want to have a conversation with Notch. Can you hear me?
No sound on the video. I can hear you.
All right, let me reshare this with you.
I'll see if it was actually being broadcast to the audience. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. We're small yet powerful team, and we're super censored, and we don't want donations. We don't take anything like that, and we don't have any Patreons. We don't sell t-shirts. All we do is ask you to verify and research the truth.
Yeah, so we got Banjo.
There's Banjo.
And then Notch. So
Nacho.
which is a reason why we want to talk to him, because he's in the mix of all this, and he's going to say how he supports.
I mean, what happened to his hair? I mean, what is this? He looks. Oh, I'm not going to say anything, but we'll find out what has happened to this guy.
Yeah.
Like the surface of the Earth. But again, how the sun is working, how the celestial is working, it's a bit of a mystery to me. So obviously for you, they must have to fake the 24-hour sun in in Antarctica, because like in your model, then the circling sun cannot possibly work. And like, do you think that you could be possibly be open to?
He's saying your model that could not possibly work, and then he's going to later say this is the model that he prefers because it's what QNFee promotes, right?
The idea that the circling sun could be, wrong. Do you think that's a possibility? Is there any
I don't think
possibility?
that the circling sun, it's being recorded in our history, in our cultures.
All right. So his proof is that the circling sun has been recorded in all history and all cultures. Then Q right away takes it to like biblical. So this is like a biblical picture of maybe Jacob or
just any biblical shepherd David, could be anybody.
Yeah. So he's gonna mock it.
Yeah. Well, who does he believe created the reality? Right? He's gonna mock the Christianity, but who does he think created it?
Yeah, and so Banjo is considered a biblical earther, just like who's Flatzoid, who's another character that say it. It's, he was the one. So Q is coming to us saying that we should be with Flatzoid because he's a biblical earther, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've exposed for over 7 years now that these fake shill channels have been trying to connect the Bible to the false AE map and model so that they can debunk both this November. We were ahead of it by 7 years.
With the sheepfucker in the dress 2000 years ago would have figured out what is happening and what is observed 2,000 miles east or west.
Okay, all cultures, they have their astronomers and observations of the sky, of the sun. It's pretty. Now, as I said, they are just going there. They cannot leave Union Glacier, right? They cannot.
So this is his argument. They can only go to Union Glacier. They can't go south of it. So the government can go in and they can set up sun simulators.
Not leave there. They're going to be like in there. They cannot leave that area. If they could go another 5 miles south or 10 miles south, or 15 miles, they can't, right? They're going to be observing something from there. So NASA can go 15 miles south, 20 miles south. The handlers, they can set up something there, right? And the guys can easily be deceived.
Oh, deceived. How? Are they going to put up a fake sun or so? Where do they get the energy from? Solar panels?
Yeah, it's funny. Solar panels, you would need to have the sun, right? But there is a sun, and the idea that you could put up a sun simulator and have it make the path around an observer and have it have the properties of the sun. Like it would have to provide the heat that the sun does, the light that the sun does. It would have to cast shadows away from it. All of those things are absurdities. There's absolutely no possible way you could simulate the sun. And I do have a video in the works that I would like to get finished in the next week or two, all about how the sun simulator is so irrational, so dumb, impossible. But he wants to say sun simulator.
Or a big wire.
I was deceived during 9/11. I thought real planes hit those buildings. The sun is circling, weather is reflecting the dome and doing some fun stuff. I don't know. It's very difficult to know. And
circling, reflecting, I don't know, but he's the guy that's proving it, right? He doesn't know anything, and he just says
pissed off at him because he's got the blue version, not Q's color AE map.
Yeah, Q's name might not be on it.
Nah, not on the blue one.
But this one does have the pedo swirls in it, so
yeah,
maybe Q likes this one too.
He might.
And
Okay, you're talking about the caustic coffee cup caustic.
yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, coffee cup caustic. That's the Jaren thing that came out and originally from Bob Nodal. Yep.
Yeah, similar to that.
Coffee cum caustic. Yeah, get lost. That's just bullshit. I believe Richard came up with that shit.
Apparently Q has not been around because, as we just said, it was Bob and Jaren that brought out the coffee cup caustic. Witsit didn't even come around until like 2020. He's a super newbie on the scene.
And then Flat Soy took over, and the rest of the fake flat earthers. But according to the data, the celestial data, sun calc data, there is a sun visible at the south, everywhere, and it's not only light. This is
All right, so I made a graphic like this a little while ago in a video against Q, showing circling suns around the outside here. Now he's made his own, and he's saying that this is what is taking place. So this is some crazy absurdity, because everybody knows that the sun would have to be traveling between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, right, making a circle around like this. And now he has suns out in Antarctica doing this.
Off the map. They're outside of reality in his map model, and he thinks this is good.
And he has no sun going around in the tropics.
in the south. People see a sun and not only some light. This is what's happening.
That's what's happening. How many suns are there?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 8 suns.
Wow.
There's 8 suns.
According to sun calc and all other celestial data at the same moment. Look here. The celestial.
All right, this is garbage. Let's go ahead and jump ahead to 6 minutes.
It's his celestial data.
I mean, watch the whole video, everybody, but it you'll see that this is just nonsense.
Calc data is correct. Why don't you use it?
Let me answer this question. I forgot you had mentioned about SunCalc. Yes, I think SunCalc is correct.
All right, so Q says SunCalc's correct. Use it. Flat Earth Banjo says yes, SunCalc's correct.
There, and they're being flown in there, and then they have to be observing. So like if they are observing the 24-hour sun, the simulator sun must be going on there during the winter months, I guess is my point.
What?
Yeah. So
That's crazy. Continue, please. Nobody gonna figure out how much energy, and there's no way they would be able to fake the sun. But keep going.
I don't know. As we know, the sun is not. It's an apparent sun. But
Ooh, here comes the words that Q loves so much.
they are seeing the real sun
So,
there.
pause it. I want to ask a question. Why is it that these shills, Will Duffy, Nachiketa, all these characters, now you got Flat Earth Banjo, why are they not ever looking into the camera when they're speaking? Why are they always looking off to the side of the screen? Always.
Because they're reading. This is a script that they're given.
It seems like it, because nobody ever looks in the camera when they're talking. None of these people, ever. They're always looking off to the side to another screen or to the... always.
Mm-hmm.
Except for
I
Q.
doubt it.
He doesn't go on camera. And when he did, he had the sweaty pits like a crazy lunatic.
Apparent sweaty pits, of course.
Apparent.
Yeah, so I want to make this really clear, everybody. The difference between all these other people, Q, Banjo, all these shills, and us, is that they will say, oh no, that's the apparent sun, or that's the real sun. You're only going to hear one thing from Ronnie and I ever, and that it's the sun, right? It's the sun. And so it's a half a degree in the sky, and you can look at the calculations for the azimuth, the altitude, and it's right there. And it doesn't wobble, it doesn't change. I mean, the difference in its size, it might be a little bit bigger at sunrise and sunset, but it doesn't do any of the things that it would require if it was coming towards you and going away. It doesn't start out as a tiny little dot, get big, its biggest size above you, and then become a dot going away from you.
No.
There's just one sun. And the same with all the other stars, and they're very, very small, and they're always exactly in their position. It's not an apparent star. It's not a mean star. It is the star.
Oh, I doubt seeing a real sun down below. How do you determine it's a real sun or an apparent sun? According to you, the real sun is traveling between the tropics. That's the sun you use. And in fact, that is the mean sun that only exists on paper. So in the south, people see the real sun. Or I must say, a real sun.
Okay, they may be
8 real suns, according to him, right?
There's not 8 real suns. That's absolute clownery. Show us the 8 suns, QNFee. Do you know how stupid you look? There's 8 suns now, Jason. Did you know that? Q has filmed 8 suns in the sky. 8. Yeah. I can't wait to see his response when he shows us the 8 suns. We're going to hold on to your chairs, everybody.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be good.
Wow.
So I want to point out to everybody this mean versus apparent sun. So I did a search here for mean versus apparent sun. You can do it yourself. And the answer is the apparent sun is the sun as seen from Earth, while the mean sun is a theoretical sun that moves at a constant speed.
It's backwards.
Yeah, so this is just gibberish, everybody. So the sun has a constant speed. It never changes. It never varies. It is the sun, and there is no apparent sun, and this is all because of elliptical orbits. Because if the orbit was elliptical, there would not be a constant rate of speed. All right, so what Q is giving us in this video is proof that he is a heliocentric shill trying to argue for elliptical orbits of the sun. It continues here, apparent sun. The sun as seen from Earth, and the basis for apparent solar time. Apparent solar time is measured by a sundial or by direct observing of the sun. That's all we ever talk about, is direct observing of the sun. It's not uniform because the Earth's speed varies as it orbits the sun in an ellipse, but it actually is absolutely uniform.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Right.
So they had to make that up because when they teach the model of reality, heliocentric version, the ellipse or the elliptical path of the sun would dictate that the Earth would vary in its speed. It continues on the mean sun, an imaginary sun that moves along a celestial equator at a constant speed. The mean solar day is the time it takes for the mean sun to make one daily revolution. So the time that the sun crosses above your head is 24 hours when it comes across that very same spot. It continues on. Mean solar time is the solar time that would be measured if the sun moved at a constant speed. Most clocks and watches use mean solar time. So the clocks that we use are dictated and created off of the movement of the sun, right? So it goes on to state the apparent sun appears to move across the sky as what Earth rotates. It absolutely doesn't. The sun's apparent path across the sky changes because the viewer's perspective of the sun changes as they state the Earth spins. The sun also appears to move north or south over the course of a year, but it doesn't actually move. I want everyone to understand the level of just idiocracy here. The absolute QNFee has gone straight into the pig's mire. He is rolling around in slop, eating and snorting and snickering in slop. If anyone brings up apparent solar time or apparent sun versus mean sun, they are promoting heliocentrism. It's retardation. This is the craziest thing that you could ever imagine that a supposed truth investigator would be using. Listen, the only reason anyone would be using NASA or Navy Navy diagrams and videos are people that are trying to misinform you. Okay, there is one sun that you can see. Nobody has ever witnessed 8 suns. No one's ever witnessed 2 suns. There's one sun, and it has a constant speed, and that is how you set the day. And it's 24 hours that it rotates around you, sets into the ground, goes below your feet, rises up again on the eastern sky horizon, and then crosses above your head at the exact same 24-hour distance every single day of all time. No one has ever measured a sun to go faster or slower. No one has ever measured it to do anything other than that. There's never been anyone measured more than one sun. There's not 8 suns. There's not a mean versus apparent. There is one sun and one sun speed. And if anyone tells you differently, direct them to this video and call them an absolute shill.
It continues. Apparent solar time is the time the sun shows in the day. We can make a sundial to tell this. Mean solar time is the time on our watches that humans have invented, as sun time is an unreliable way to tell the time for society. They are saying that the sun is not reliable and that it doesn't rotate at a constant speed, and the time on our watches is just made up. Right? They call that mean. They call the one that we see apparent, but they say that's not the real sun.
No. One that we see, they're saying, and Q is back in this. He's the one showing this and using it as proof. Listen, QNFee used to actually go out and film clouds behind the sun, clouds behind the moon. He used to film things. He used to do excellent work. He used to do good videos. The one thing that Q doesn't do, he does not debunk the sphere Earth. He doesn't. In fact, he promotes it backhandedly by telling you that there's such a thing as apparent solar time and apparent mean time. He goes on to state things like the sun speeds up and slows down because of the different calculations from SunCalc that he's clicking on. And the map that he's using is a sphere projection. The azimuthal equidistant map is a sphere. It is a sphere projection squished with the Antarctica stretched out to the outside to infinity. So everybody wake up. QNFee is a globe Earth shill promoting globe Earth theories. Okay, no truther that goes out and actually witnesses how long it takes for one day to pass will ever tell you that there are different speeds to the sun. Here is a hundredth of a degree per second version of reality that we're showing you. The sun in this is what you can go out and actually witness and verify yourself. Okay, do you think that the sun here speeds up and slows down, Jason?
No, this is one absolutely constant speed. You can see this blue line. It is tracking the path of the sun, and it is absolutely constant. There's no variation to this whatsoever, ever. All right, this is the real sun. It's a half a degree of the sky. You can go out. We can hit pause on this. And on March 29th, 2024, you would have to go out at 6:42, and you're going to see the sun at an azimuth of 94.66 degrees and an altitude of 14.4 degrees. Mm-hmm. It's just that simple, and it is constant. There is no variation to this ever.
So the only problem that you incur when dealing with the nature of this reality is when you try to calculate multiple places, because what you're doing is creating an irrational error in the virtual reality that we're in. When you try to triangulate, when you try to measure the distance between two areas and two different observers with the sun around them and their speeds, you get errors. Right? That's not the way that this place was created. Okay, every single person and camera has the sunrise and the sunset fixed on their elevation, and it is a constant speed. It is so constant, it is so regular that it actually proves that we live in a virtual reality. Because if we were in a atomistic Big Bang heliocentric model, things would be totally irrational. We would see different skies every 6 months. We would see different stars every 6 months of the year. We'd be facing a different direction if the Earth were spinning. The sun and the moon and all the stars would be doing irrational things. They wouldn't be perfectly fixed like a clock, which it absolutely states and dictates in the scriptures, the Bible, that everyone hates, that QNFee, that Nachiketa, that Del, upwards rising earth, are trying to prove that the earth isn't fixed and informed and immovable. All of these people that are fighting against the truth, lo and behold, go figure, they're anti-biblical. Go figure. And guess who gets all the views? Guess who gets censored? Anybody that promotes that the Bible is true and then shows evidence. Listen, what we're looking at, Jason, I'm going to hand it to you in a second. This model right here was perfectly explained 5,000 years ago in what is called the Book of Enoch. Perfectly, including the 6 gates from the top of the yellow area here to the bottom. Every single spot of this was perfectly explained. The rise and set angles throughout the entire year were perfectly explained 5,000 years ago. It was as if Enoch was sitting in a room and wrote down exactly what this program here was depicting. And keep in mind, everybody, this program is a flat earth. This isn't curved. None of this is curved calculations. And if anyone tells you, oh, this is a globe model, no one has ever measured anything from a sphere, ever. Every single astronomical measurement that has ever been taken measurement was taken with a sextant from an astronomical society. They were men that went outside and measured things with actually measuring devices, and then they got put into programs. Nobody measured from a sphere. No one went into outer space and said, this is when the sun's going to rise. Here's the Terminator. There is no such thing. Newsflash, everyone, there is no such thing as a sphere modeling program. They are all observations made from the earth.
Well, and here's another huge debunk that we have, courtesy of QNFee, and that is, if this was globe data, we would see a not constant rate because of the elliptical orbit. Mm-hmm. It would speed up and slow down, right? It
demands it, right? Because if the earth is spinning around the sun the way that the heliocentric model depicts, right, that it would, because sometimes you would be a little closer and a little further away from the sun, then you would have longer and shorter days. And we don't. Nobody's ever had that, ever. Sure, sometimes there's more nighttime and sometimes there's more daytime. And that is shown here by your latitude and longitude and the tilt. So when people talk about the tilt of the earth, that's the tilt of your actual sky. When you measure from the equator to the tropics, you get that 23.5 degree azimuth. Okay. Everything is based off of this flat, easily understandable projection, including the 6 gates of Enoch. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 2 half gates when it's 15 degrees out, 15 degrees back. And then you've got the other gates inside of those ones. Perfectly. This was all detailed perfectly in the Book of Enoch. We've gone through it many times here.
All right. We might come back to this, but let's keep going.
He's seeing something. It's a reflection on the firmament.
The firmament means rakia. It means empty, vast space, sky.
Mistranslation in the Freemason King James translation of the Bible by Sir Francis Bacon, who was also Shakespeare.
It sounds like something that will be firm, but it doesn't even mean anything like a hard surface or anything like that. That's not even what the word firmament means.
Yeah, look up rakia.
Antarctica stations, seeing a reflection in a dome.
See, now he's got all these suns going around on the outside here, but he still doesn't have any sun between the tropics whatsoever. Just suns coming from the outside and circling around his Antarctic stations.
And according to Banjo, this is all happening of the mean sun that is traveling between the tropics.
Now he's got what he's calling a mean sun. There's only one sun, and that's the observable sun, and you don't have a sun between the tropics here and then 8 other suns doing circles outside here.
So crazy.
So that one must be the real one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's the real sun because the sun is apparent. You cannot say, okay, that's the real sun right there.
You cannot locate that's the real sun.
Wow.
He's saying when you look at the sun, you cannot say that's the real sun. It's
That's a fake
just
sun.
a fake sun. And then he's got these graphics up here where he's showing suns all around out here and rise and set angles from the south and setting to the south. Like this right here is a debunk of his model. He's the one showing it. It's crazy.
You know where the sun is? It's traveling between the tropics. You remember?
You know, with the sun and moon circulating around Mount Meru. I don't think they were wrong.
Have you ever seen Mount Meru?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are some interesting things in the north, because all the fake flat earthers have always wanted to do was talk about the south. And that's where they're going, right? Why not go to the north?
I think Jake Asshole is wrong.
Obviously, Jake the Asshole can have his opinions, and like I'm more aligned with Jake the Asshole and QNFee at the moment.
My position
So he's aligned with Jake the Asshole and QNFee that are saying that the circling sun is impossible, yet they all say that they like the AE map.
This is their model. And there's 8 suns now. So Nachiketa is he believes there's 8 suns.
Well, we got to ask him. We got to ask him if he believes there's 8.
Suns.
Yeah, the real one too.
He believes in their model. Listen, where is their model? Was that the one with the 8 suns? Is that QNFee? Is that his model? Where they don't have a model. How can you be aligned with them if they don't even have a model of reality?
Here's Q's.
And according to
All right. Apparently that's his model.
We got to get through this. It's getting late. I mean,
you remember?
well, we don't have
you know, with the sun and moon circulating around Mount Meru. I don't think they were wrong. I think Jake Asshole is wrong.
Obviously, Jake the Asshole can have his opinions, and like I'm more aligned with Jake the Asshole and QNFee at the moment.
My position is that something circles the flat plane, but
That's wrong.
in the equator, where the sun has to circle 2 times on its way to the south and back to the north. And I don't know if I convinced you of the circling sun, but I don't think the Japanese, the Chinese, the Mongolians, the Koreans, they were wrong. You know, I don't.
This is supposedly the biblical flat earther, right? He didn't mention Bible once. No, it's Japanese and Koreans and
They didn't have the AE map either. None of them did. None of them did. Actually, the Asians, the Chinese people had an amazing device that they built that was a half semi-sphere, right? A hemisphere. And they were able to align the heavenly bodies on it and navigate with it. And they didn't use an AE map. None of those societies. Go ahead.
Japanese made all those mechanical stuff 200 years ago.
I like the AE map. I think the AE map is the best map available.
Oh,
wow. He
believes
likes
in
it.
A single unipolar map. Listen, you can't represent reality. Okay, Jason, it's time. The only way you can represent reality with a circular map is using coin Earth. And that's what they wanted. What?
It's coming up. It's coming up when Q starts talking about sun speeds. We'll bring it up.
The one that you are using, but again, what the Celestial is doing,
I disagree with you, but I agree with your map.
So I don't
hold on a
follow
second.
this.
I mean, how can he state that he believes in this map when he doesn't understand what the sky's doing at all? Because
Right. Well, and it's irrational. And QNFee and Jake the Asshole have both shown how it's impossible.
Yeah, they've debunked it, right?
Yeah.
Because you can blindly navigate. Well, you can blindly navigate on any coordinate system. Take it away. And measure
Mercator.
off of the lines of latitude and longitude, and you can turn them back on, and you can pinpoint anything on the map. This is just one version of that. It's so
The problem with the AE is it's irrational. It doesn't follow the coordinate system at all. A Mercator does.
Yeah, it's true.
Circling sun, I do believe that the sun is actually a rising and setting, and I've seen.
Ooh, rising and setting. That is something that cannot happen with the circling sun.
That's true. At least he said that.
It myself,
Nachiketa.
and I've seen videos of that, and I think there.
Seen videos. Like, has anybody not seen a sunrise or sunset? Like,
Entire life, anybody has not gone outside and seen a sunrise or sunset with their own eyes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of documentations in regards to it. Now, that I'm not making a claim about I know what it is and how it works. I think it's very much like, somehow our own reality. That's the way in which I have to kind of look at it, because like
our own reality. How does he explain that? So if he
reality,
if he believes in the AE, then all of a sudden you're in a pressurized pizza dome, but he's saying that we're in our own reality. So we're all in our own pressurized pizza domes.
And they're rising up. All of us are rising.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying.
And yes, in 24 hours it comes to the same spot, but then again, like, is that a physical thing? I mean, yes, I do get a tan or whatever from this sun, but how it works.
Yeah, a physical thing. So heat, sunburns, all those things. Evidence of an actual sun, not a fake sun or an apparent sun or a mean sun or any of that stuff. Just the sun.
Again, with my physical body, and the plants and everything, I do not know. So I'm not going to make any claims about that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. So QNFee does a great work. As far as the sun, what I'm asking you guys to consider all the longitudinal lines. Don't just pick one and base the whole thing in one, because all longitudinal lines are based on the center pole, which is the North Pole.
Single pole. Where's your other pole, Banjo?
Where's the other pole?
Where's the Southern Cross on your map?
Where's the South Pole? Where's the South Pole?
Yeah, they can't. They don't have it. It's why it's a joke.
Magnetic or celestial, either one. Show us.
Yeah, show me the magnetic South Pole on this map. QNFee too. Show us the magnetic South Pole on your map. Show us the South Pole, Q. Where does the Southern Cross circumnavigate around? What does it circle around on your map here? Show us.
And if you can't show us, show us a one-pole magnet if that's the case.
Yeah, show us a one-pole magnet. Or shut up and stop being such agents and shills. Like, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting tired, these guys and their nonsense.
So, when you do your research, do all over, just like I showed you, just one. Don't pick just one. Okay, that's what the sun does, because in this longitude, no, pick all the other ones, because the pi can be divided in 24, 36, 48.
There's no pi.
96,
Pizza
100,
pie.
All right? The sun, very long south, would rise southwest and set.
So all of these, he's pointing to this, saying the sun would rise southwest, sets southeast, at all these locations, and he's saying, don't just pick one. And he's showing all of these, and every single one of these shows how the sun can't be doing circles.
Yeah, wrong.
Every single one shows how it can't.
South would rise southeast and set southwest. But again, that's equal to every longitudinal line. So everybody observes the same thing. Okay, this guy here, okay, the sun is rising southeast and setting southwest.
That's a debunk.
And so this guy, and so this guy.
That's another debunk.
And so this guy.
Another debunk.
And that's a circling sun.
No.
I think SunCalc is correct. So SunCalc is very interesting because it shows that the sun, as I have played on that's a U.S. Navy.
So all of a sudden he goes from SunCalc to U.S. Navy, and these are the wheelhouse of Q. So watch what happens.
That's your navigation video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My channel.
So Banjo said he loves Q. He thinks Q is great, and then he brings up the U.S. Navy video, and all of a sudden Q gets to go, oh yeah, that's my video. Let's see what this video is that Q loves so much.
From my playlist, Old School Celestial Navigation.
The sun does not have a uniform movement. It means that it moves.
What? See, that's where he just went off the rails. The sun's movement is absolutely perfectly uniform. It doesn't change its rotational speed ever.
In different speed per the hour. Sometimes SunCalc has it. Okay, the sun moving 22 degrees in 1 hour, and the same SunCalc has had in the past the sun moving only 7 degrees in 1 hour.
All right, 22 degrees an hour, 7 degrees in an hour. He's saying that that's from SunCalc. That's absolute horseshit, but let's see what Q does with it.
Yeah, each location looking at the sun that have different speeds per hour. Some move 20, some move 6. Very irregular.
Did you see the proof of irregular speed of the sun? I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
No.
Hey, he went from here. He said,
To there?
Very irregular.
you see how irregular it is?
No.
It says it's very irregular. This is so crazy. Now, because I know Q, I want to jump out here and say there are different speeds of the sun, but that has to do with like a solar noon traveling from one longitude to another. And that is something that we've depicted in the stereographic virtual reality explained. This actually shows how day and night travel over the face of Earth right here. And so I just want to show everybody, that this is a uniform speed, and what you have is, all right, the sun sets. You can see the shadows in each one of these locations. The sun is setting, the sun is rising, the sun is rising, the sun is setting, the sun is setting, the sun is rising, the sun is rising. All right, and this is the way day and night travel across the face of the Earth. But here is a very important point, and that is that the equator right here is, let's go back to it. It is, the equator is 21,600 nautical miles. Now let's go ahead and bring up Coin Earth right here. So the perimeter around here at the equator is 21,600 nautical miles, but the lines of latitude get shorter as you go towards the north. So it goes from, now these are 30-degree segments here, so it goes from 1800 to 1737 to 1554 to 1265 to 892 to 46120. So we know that the sun takes 24 hours to go around the equator, and because it's 21,600 miles, that's the reason why we come up with the 1,000 miles per hour sun traveling around the equator. But it also takes 24 hours for the sun to go all the way around at these different latitudes that are shorter and shorter and shorter. So once you get up to like 60 degrees, where it's only 900 miles, the sun only has to travel, this would be, this is 30 degrees. Basically, if this is 1800 and this is 900, all right, it's gonna move half as fast right here. Half as fast, as far as it takes a full 24 hours in order for the sun to come around for a solar noon to a solar noon, and it only has to go half the distance. So this is where the sun speed is different But let's take a look at the bottom side of this, because here we can see that the lines of latitude get shorter in the south. As you go south of the equator, once you're down here, the sun is traveling half the speed as it is at the equator. So this is the reason why we keep on saying that the AE map is irrational, because it doesn't get wider and wider. Once you go past the equator, it gets smaller and smaller. So the sun speeds are equally slower in the south as they are in the north. Do you follow that?
Yeah, and it's 24 hours to travel in a complete circuit around you.
But it has to travel half the distance at these higher latitudes on both the north and the south side. All right, so there are varying speeds of sun based on latitude, and that's the time that it takes from solar noon to solar noon. This has nothing to do with sun speeds like this. This is the 24 hours for an observer where the path of the sun is perfectly static. It doesn't change whatsoever.
Yeah, this is all that's real. And you can click around anywhere on this map. Click around, move around on it. Everything else is just
Yeah, let's go north.
gibberish. But if people want to know, we'll show you the correct way. If you want it to be an AE map, you got to have it work the way that we did. As you can see here, the sun is still taking from midnight to midnight, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. There's no change in it, right? But this is the way that we need to be looking at things, not trying to theoretically put the sun in some non-realistic way. The traveling between tropics, okay? None of that is real.
The sun speed, as far as rotation around the observer, is absolutely constant. The only thing that ever changes is the based on latitude or longitude. If you were to measure solar noon, all right, it was solar noon in London, and then it's solar noon in Anchorage, Alaska, you'll see that it's much slower traveling because it has to go half the distance as it does at the equator, right? But that is just day and night. That has nothing to do with the sun's rotation around the observer. Let's keep going.
Are we just going to go through like all these clicks?
And that's why they made up this mean sun data.
All right, I got to stop here. Show everybody what took place. So he's showing this, and this right here is real information. You have latitude, you have longitude, and watch what he does.
And that's why they made up this mean sun data.
Photovoltaic.
Mean sun angle. It says Greenwich hour angle. So if we go over to this, so here's your regular latitude and longitude. Let's go ahead and click on this. And he says this is your mean sun data. Well, this is the Julian date. This is the distance between terrestrial time and universal time. This is Greenwich mean sidereal time. This is Greenwich hour angle. This is the celestial latitude plus or minus 23.5 degrees. Plus or minus. That's a big, big, big window. Right ascension, you have your equinox dates. You have a solar constant, the radiant power. You have air mass, and you have irradiance. This is gibberish right here. This is gibberish, and he's saying that this is the mean sun. This is the real sun over here, and it's absolutely nonsensical. This is the real sun, but you have to actually zoom into a person's actual circle of sight. Mm-hmm. All right, now all of a sudden you've got the correct path.
GHA and declination.
Gibberish.
This means sun is traveling between the tropics and have a regular motion of 15 degrees per hour. In December the 21st, it's at the 23rd latitude south. And if we look here, at the tip of South America, the sun rises south of east and not travels over the Tropic of Capricorn.
Wow.
As you can see.
The Tropic of Capricorn is right here. And this right here, right, in order to see this correctly, you actually have to zoom to a person's circle of sight. Let's get down there quick. All right. If this is, here's a circle of sight. This is where you'll see the sunrise, and this is where you'll see the sunset.
Yeah.
Right. This path right here.
He zoomed out,
Yeah.
making a mockery of it.
Yeah, he's saying, "Oh yeah, the sun."
It's rising from way in Antarctica. Yeah, nobody has that large of a circle of sight, Q. Again, more absolute ridiculous nonsense. Look at how he sets it up. Like, nobody from the tip of South America can see Antarctica. And if they tell you they can, they are lying to you. Remember, we showed earlier in the podcast, you can only see, a 6-foot height observer can only see 2.9 miles. And that's where you're seeing the sun rise.
All right, we have somebody in the chat that says, "Explain what happens when Alaska goes 67 days with no sunlight." Well, if you're at the North Pole, there's 180 days without sunlight. If you're at the South Pole, it's 180 days without sunlight. And so Alaska is not all the way at the North Pole, so that's the reason why they go 67 days, depending on where you are in Alaska without sunlight.
You dodge Nachiketa's questions about this and you answer them with bullshit.
But I believe, that's my take, that don't matter how many, like you have 24. You can add 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. You can add 10, 10, 4, 24. You can add 2, 2, 2, but the same, at the very end, you're going to have 24 hours. So I think the sun does this not uniform, like...
He says uniform, not uniform. So that's all scripted, in my opinion. He says... uniform, not uniform. It's absolutely perfectly constant. It never changes whatsoever.
Regular movement, but it's back at the same place in 24 hours.
That we can agree
24
on.
hours. It comes back. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
He believes that too, huh? Wow. End the video. You should have stopped
But he's...
there.
Yeah, but he says it's not uniform. It changes because Earth's in an elliptical orbit around the sun, right?
Yeah, due to the Earth's turning while spinning around the sun, that you've got these different speeds. That's what Q's arguing for.
That's what my take is.
He's going to go to the Navy for the information. Here we go, everybody. Fasten your seatbelts. We're going into nonsense disinformation land.
Time. This is how the U.S. Navy explains it. And it's going to be so similar to what we saw on Google regarding apparent and mean. Watch.
Mm-hmm.
The apparent motion of the sun is not uniform. For this reason, it would be difficult to construct a clock.
The observable motion of the sun is absolutely uniform,
Capable of keeping this irregular time.
So they're saying clocks could not keep it because it's so irregular.
How do you construct a clock? That's impossible. So that's why we construct a system with a mean sun that travels between the tropics.
So all of a sudden Q saying we construct a mean sun between the tropics.
On an
Right? The mean sun is the fake sun that they make up, according to the Navy thing and Google.
And have a regular motion of 15 degrees an hour.
That's what it has.
That's the mean sun.
That's the sun that we see. And it's not on a circle.
Therefore, a mean or imaginary sun is used. This mean sun is assumed to have a uniform rate of motion with respect to the Earth.
Assumed to have a uniform rate. That's what's measured. That's what we literally measure when we measure the sun.
The time measured by the mean or imaginary sun is called mean or civil time, and uses a mean or imaginary sun as its reference point.
Okay. Now, the hourly, it can move 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 7 degrees. I don't know. It's irregular. And
Irregular. He's saying that this right here is irregular. Right? Saying that this is irregular. Sometimes it goes 22 degrees and then sometimes 7.
Whoops, slows down and goes quicker and slows down. No, it doesn't.
Because Earth's in an elliptical orbit, right?
That's what they're arguing for, ladies and gentlemen.
NASA knows that. The government knows that. That's
NASA knows it. Government knows it. Yeah.
why they have the mean sun. Everything is based on the mean
Yeah, Q uses that video as proof.
sun.
Yeah, and you are using it as the real sun that travels between the tropics.
So this is about sun calc. Now, the observation that you told me about Ushuaia or Ponte Cadenas in Chile, can you just go back to my screen for a little second, please?
What is this? Is this about the sunrise angle in Ushuaia?
So this is an animation an Australian guy created some like 9 years ago, okay? So he has what I believe there is a firmament, and he has the movement of the stars being reflected.
Oh no. Let me kill that idea in a second. So here in the south, people see the stars rotate clockwise, and if it was a reflection...
I just want to show everybody here. So this is the debunk of Earth having one pole, because there is a south pole, and what he's showing right here is that this would be sigma octans here, and you will see the stars rotate around a single polar point in the south, right?
Clockwise.
Yeah, so this right here debunks the idea that Earth has a single pole.
Because this has to be stretched out around the entire AE map and model. This is why we call it irrational and say, Q, you can't use this. Like you can't debunk the model, the map, and then say it's the best one we have when you're literally debunking it right here. Like, where do you put this, Q? Where does this, how do you depict the southern stars on this map? Where do you put it?
And if it was a reflection... Oops.
Reflection. This is just nonsense.
Yeah, you can't have two places with a polar rotation here and a polar rotation on the other side, and flipping it around doesn't help at all.
Then the opposite side should rotate in the opposite direction, of course. This rotates like this. And
no,
if
it doesn't.
Reflects,
that's not right. That's not right.
And so this is the reason why anybody that believes in a single pole model such as this is stupid. Like really, really dumb.
We should call it the QNFee Earth. Bring the coin Earth up again. So what you need to do is you need to overlay the one circle on the top here. And that's the northern one. And at the equator, you have to flip under the underside of it now. And you have to put the other rotating celestial bodies on this side. And if Q can't figure this out, he is just too stupid, and he deserves to be cut out of this conversation completely. If Q can't figure this out, everybody, if he can't catch this and understand it, he's done. People, he's losing his credibility right now. If anybody still thinks QNFee has any intelligence left in his brain, you are a clown. You are following the clowns straight to the circus, and I think it's quite hilarious. It's simple.
It also should go in this direction, of course.
There's no South Pole on this map. It's a one-pole projection, and we live in a two-pole reality.
Yeah, so now he's got a second pole over here and rotating in the wrong direction, right? Wow.
That is how reflections work.
It's not a reflection.
So we have 4 corners, and that's what he believes this thing is.
There's no corners on a circle. No corners.
No corners. And I want to show everybody what this graphic is showing. It has a sun circling like this, and then it has one going around inside the tropics. And you're going to see how dumb this is.
Reflects, right? And this is for the sun.
So the sun's over here, but it's here now. They're saying, oh yeah, the sun's here now.
You know, some people.
And then it's going this way.
That's how you see the sun rising southeast and setting southwest.
He says that's how you'll see it. And that graphic is what shows how stupid it is. Yeah.
Now let's see. We have the main sun traveling between the tropics.
There is only one sun. I can't.
The sun you observe, not mean.
There's no.
Not apparent.
There is a sun that everybody witnesses. No one's seen 2 suns or 8.
In this case, over the Tropic of Capricorn, at December the 21st, when
Thanks
people
for the
see
date
the
there.
sunrise
Genius.
anywhere along this line. So where is the mean sun? When the
There is
sun
no such thing.
rising?
Mean sun.
The
Again, so
observed
pause
sun
it, and
have
like
an
Jason's pointed out, what Q is doing is pulling a fast one on people by zooming too far out on SunCalc, and then if you go back a click on his model, he's again irrationally zooming out. Nobody can see that far. If you were to measure the distance, remember we told everybody you can only see 3 miles to the vanishing point. Nobody can see thousands of miles to the sun rising off of the edge of his reality. It's so stupid what he's doing. It's a child. You should be able to figure this out.
So in this model, a person in Punta Arenas here would be looking this direction to see the sun coming towards them. But he's showing right here the sun is rising from this direction. Boom, that's it. That's like the end of the discussion. This model is irrational. It doesn't work.
Debunked. Get rid of it. Nope, they're going to say it's real because they're globe earthers.
Have an angle of almost 134, while the mean sun have a declination.
This is that gibberish data down here.
Earth. This is heliocentrism.
It's not it. This is the celestial latitude plus or minus 23.5 degrees. All right, it's just gibberish nonsense, and he points at this like it's something. We can go ahead and jump ahead here to. Let's go to 21.
It doesn't surprise me
20.
that this is what Q's become. It doesn't surprise me one bit.
He's always been this.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so he's once again he's showing the same thing, where the stars that you would be seeing looking to the north, you would have to be looking past the sun right here on the other side of Earth.
Yeah, the
to
stars
see
aren't
them.
on the outside of the imaginary dome. You'd have
And
to
see
see through
stars
Russia.
circling in the dome through daylight. Do you understand?
He's
So
debunking
right
his
now
own
the
model.
sun is inverted.
Yeah, so anybody that believes in a AE map model right there, smashed.
Done. Debunked. It's irrational. It doesn't work.
Right here. So we cannot see this constellation at night. You go outside and now you won't be able to see because the sun's right here.
And Joe
Here
dropping
we cannot
bombs.
see the stars.
Can't see the stars where the sun is, huh? Wow. I mean, he just figured that out in 8 years.
Yeah, he's a sharp one.
Right. You are right. Yes. Banjo. You guys are sharp.
All right, so this is a section where he's going to really start schmoozing it on Q. We got to sort of listen to this.
Because the sun is in front of it. And in the model you claim, you can't see the stars when the sun is in front of it. Huh.
Okay, at the equator, this is the equinox. And remember, if the sun is in Libra, the sun will be in Libra for the entire month. It has to be rotating to hide this constellation. And the sun hides.
Did you see,
the,
go
the
back,
entire-
click back where he had those constellations? Where are the names and the pictures and the lines drawn through the constellations south of the equator?
Yeah, he's got Virgo here, but where's the Southern Cross?
Why aren't they labeled and drawn on the outside of the map? Only on the inside of the equator? You got a problem here.
You gonna see the Southern Cross rotating all the way around like this? No, that's not the way it goes.
to hide this constellation. And the sun hides the entire constellation.
Hides.
Okay, so even though we do have a circling sun, because
We don't.
it's so close to the
No.
end of the Earth, it kind of
The end.
reflects and bounces off. And that's how everybody there sees
Bounces
the sun
off.
rising southeast and setting
Bouncing
southwest.
at the corner.
I
of it.
just have shown you all your crap is just bullshit. Nothing
It is.
in your presentation.
Including the map.
That's what
here.
I think. It's very hard to know because I don't know anything,
He doesn't know
Very
anything.
clear. You don't know anything about the celestials. How long you been in the flat earth? I may ask. You did not evolve all those years.
Been studying flat Earth for
Says
9
the
years.
guy who's still promoting the
9
AE map
years,
to
you
model. Right? You're like, how
Yeah.
critical is that, you guys? Tuning in here. Q used to actually go out and observe and film amazing anomalies in the skies. He was one of the best. He had great footage. Now he does nothing. He just puts dirty diapers on people and does disgusting videos, right? With nothing, no context, nothing at all, and backhandedly promoting heliocentrism, like the Earth's elliptical orbit around the sun speed, right? What happened? Why is Q not here defending himself? Why is he not in the chat? Why is he not wanting to have a live stream and show us how we're wrong and that the AE map works? Why is he afraid? What is he afraid of?
He's a coward.
Hey, same shit for 9 years. Time you're going to evolve a little bit. And another thing, you're telling bullshit about me. About my modeling. For example, on the equinox, that I only use one longitude. No.
What are your thoughts on
No. That is the classic line
It can be
coming out of
or
Q.
whatever.
No.
QNFee and the kind of research that he is doing? Do you you must not agree with it because it actually goes against this model?
No, I agree. QNFee,
So he's saying it goes against this model, yet he just said earlier that he is with Q and the asshole. He's with them, and he agrees that this is the correct map. Crazy.
is a great guy. I have admired his work for a long time. Actually,
So you got Banjo saying he's a great guy. I admire his work.
right? So I'm not saying what I think this guy should do is not pick just one longitudinal line.
that is some kind of straw man. Do you watch my videos? Here.
Alright, so Q shows that he does it from multiple longitudes, and it is an absolute straw man. But you can see that the Banjo loves him, thinks he's great, thinks he's the best.
You can almost pick these videos at my channel blindly. I always do more than one longitude line, mostly 3. But it doesn't matter if I do 1 or 3 or 5 or 10. The more I do, the more it destroys your circling sun model. Do you understand?
Okay, so I can only speculate. So this is always speculation. The polar projection we need is to navigate based on the south, on the North Pole right here. So you gotta have, there's no other way. And what I would say,
You gotta have 2 poles. He said there's no other way. Yeah, you have to have 2 poles, a North Pole and a South Pole.
I see that Jake is at the chat. When he bases his observation 90 degrees, don't pick just one longitudinal line. We have 24 at least. And Jake,
They are all the same. Every single longitude will give you the same result at the same latitude. They don't change.
Gibson is wrong. That's my position, right? Okay, you have all those lines. So don't pick just one, which is the meridian Greenwich. You gotta make it.
Do you believe that Jake was straw manning the argument by just choosing one Greenwich time with the equinox? Is that the claim?
I think no, Jake. He doesn't really do a lot of research, and when he
I think this is hilarious. He absolutely calls it the way it is. Let's hear it one more time.
No, Jake, he doesn't really do a lot of research. And when
let's just okay.
No, Jake, he doesn't really do a lot of research. And when
What does it mean if Banjo gets to call you out and overstand you like that?
Oh, he's just saying that assholes and dumbass.
Yeah,
Right? All right, and then he says, "Listen,
no, Jake, he doesn't really do a lot of research. And when he wants to do something, he asks QNFee to do it for him. All right?
he does, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Jake's too stupid to do anything. He has to ask you." He heard that from Flat Earth Banjo right there. And look at this. Look at the smile on Notch over here. He's just loving that. He's like, yeah, asshole is a dumbass. Look at that look.
Oh boy.
Okay, so when you look at the sun, don't pick just one of them. Just like I showed you, like when you are 0, that's the observation. But if you move 15 degrees and then another 15, all over, you're going to have the same observation. So the sun, right?
Yeah, the same observation. It's still rising from the south of east, heading to the south of west. Gotcha.
Is 90 and sets to 70 on the equinox for everyone around the plane. So how does it?
That's a debunk of the circular Earth.
How does it do it? I have no idea.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
So obviously, you are familiar with Jake the Asshole, and you also know that QNFee does his own research. So your model of the way in which that you understand, actually, this is the very much vast majority of the flat earthers follow this model of the AE map and the circling sun, and
yeah, they say it's the best, and Notch says that he follows them.
Yeah.
Obviously, David Weiss's app is also a part of this model that you have presented. So, what are your thoughts on QNFee and the kind of research that he is doing? Do you you must not agree with it because it actually goes against this model?
No, I agree. QNFee is a great guy. I have
QNFee is great guy.
No, don't strawman me.
Jake is so dumb that he has to ask QNFee the answers to anything.
It's worked for a long time. Actually,
I left you off the hook for all these years.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, Q.
And let him off the hook, but now he's going to come down hard.
Every time Q tries to do a debunk for us, he just makes our videos and channels stronger. That's how smart Q is.
With your bullshit. And maybe you don't think I'm a nice guy anymore. After what I have shown in this video.
Ooh.
he had his channel
He'll
deleted.
still agree on the same map,
3 of my
right?
channels are deleted. Thousands of videos are gone.
You know, he had a lot of stuff. He's the one that showed you don't need you don't
You know
need the
why they were
continency.
deleted? Not like me. He wasn't sharing the truth. He wasn't fighting against the Cerveza bug. QNFee does disgusting things where he puts people in disgusting positions, and he probably got flagged. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen him do anything that was against the mainstream narrative. I've never. This guy believes that he lives on the A map. That's how you get popular. If you talk about that, he's the guy that recolored it for the flat Earth community. This guy.
And
his main channel. What do you mean? He lost thousands of
his main channel goes all the way back to.
This is his channel. What does he say? He lost. I'm the one who lost the channel. No, don't straw man me.
Let's go to his videos. Let's go to his oldest. 9 years ago.
Yeah,
he obviously didn't lose this channel.
A lie. Crazy nonsense here. He's trying to claim that he's fought for the truth. No, he hasn't. He's done some good stuff. He gets credit where credit's due, but not for a very long time. He's just been a shill. Promoting heliocentrism.
That video is still at my main channel. Here. Ball Earth navigation made easy.
All right, so this is the whole blind celestial navigation thing, where he says because he can plot any coordinate from 90 degrees north to 90 degrees south in a 360-degree radius, that because he can do that it's real, right?
That's what he says.
Yeah, the problem with that is that this is irrational because the Earth starts getting smaller at the equator, and that the equator has to be the widest part right here. So here's the equator, all right, and then it gets smaller. All these lines of latitude get smaller all the way down to a single point in the south. So
you wouldn't be able to navigate on QNFE's AE map model. You'd have to have this model to navigate.
this is the only way you could do it. His would be irrational.
Destination. You'd never be able to circumnavigate and sail around the Earth unless you show the latitudes going to a single point.
That's it. This right here, they expand to who knows what, infinity. And so the land masses get skewed. And because they're skewed, it's not real. It's not real.
It's irrational. And we can do this on other maps too. It's not just this one.
Well, I think this is as far as we need to go with this video here. But I think it became obvious that Q, with his irregular sun speeds, is shilling for the mean sun, the apparent sun, and that he's saying that the sun changes its rotational speed because Earth has an elliptical orbit.
Yeah. That's what he's saying. The sun, as seen from Earth, and the basis for an apparent solar time. An apparent solar time is measured by a sundial but directly observing the sun, and it's not uniform because the Earth's speed varies as it orbits the sun in an ellipse. That's what, when you hear anybody talking about apparent and mean sun, they are referencing heliocentrism.
That's it. So there you go. Q is a globe Earth shill.
And the AE map and model is a globe sphere projection.
but an irrational one. The only rational one
way, that's right,
would be is the coin Earth.
We showed him he's not using it, and I know he likes to think angles. So who's to say that when you travel outwards and you get to the equator, why can't you just go to the underside like that?
Man, who knows?
this.
It's only 8 miles, right? The deepest they ever drilled. So this is just a 8-mile jump, and then all of a sudden you're on the underside.
Exactly, and it's not irrational anymore. We fixed it for you guys, and not only that, but this is in the Zetetic researchers. They actually had the two poles. They had the flat Earth depicted like this. They just didn't put it together like this because they didn't have the modeling program. We did it for you. Jason did it. He Zetetically put it together. Thank you, Jason. Good job. And thank you for everybody for tuning in. And if you want to continue to follow QNFee at your own, go ahead. Head straight to the circus. See what you get. He's going to be continuing to teach you disinformation about heliocentrism on top of sphere Earth projections. And that's the reality. And he doesn't know who created it. He doesn't understand it. It's just a magical, mystical place to him, right? He doesn't have any answers for anything. And all you get to see is dirty diapers thrown onto people's faces and disgusting, gross content that nobody can even understand or hear.
Yeah, it's fall.
And you know what's funny? Everybody that does go against us, that tries to somehow act like, because no one has ever played our words, no one has ever, and sure, we've made mistakes, we've corrected it. You can go back 8 years, like the last video that QN tried to do about you and me. He goes back to our first thing. Nobody can take our modern day information, the things that we share, and they can't use it. They can only misrepresent the things that we say and take our words out of context, right? Where is Q? He's not blocked. Where are the people that support him? Why aren't they in our chat? Why aren't they defending themselves? Because they can't. They can't. And we'll continue to watch. But go ahead, follow the clown show if you want. Stay heliocentrist with Q.
All right. Well, that was a fun Flat Earth Friday. We will be live again this Sunday. We are in Tabernacles, and so it began at sundown on the 18th, everybody. And so we'll be covering it from the spiritual standpoint this Sunday. And then the next Sunday is Shemini Atzeret. So that's the end of Tabernacles, and we'll be able to cover the end of it as well.
Yeah.
But this has been fun, brother.
Yeah, and also you can tune in on Rumble, and the descriptions in the description box below the video. Find we have another channel. We do a morning show every Sunday morning at 9 p.m. Central. That's 10 p.m. Eastern, and you'll get 8 new songs. We cover the news, what's going on in the realm during the week, and tune in for that too.
All right, where's the only place people are going to get this content?
Only on the Hawashai News Networks.